I think that the East region is going to be the bracket of chaos. There's always one region in the NCAA tournament that goes completely insane. And I think this year it is going to be the East region. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I think number one, because I think Kentucky is the best team in the East region and they're going to run through it. I love Purdue, but I just think Purdue defensively, I don't trust them. Kentucky, again, they've got the one thing that nobody else has in that region, which is, I guess you could say Baylor kind of has 2 point guards. I still think Flagler is much more of a 2 than a 1, where Kentucky has 2 legitimate point guards that complement each other so well in Severe Wheeler and Ty Washington. So I don't see anybody coming out of there but Kentucky. Now, again, maybe I'll be wrong. I just think they're that much better. But like, yes, I could see Carolina beating Baylor. I could see Indiana beating UCLA. I could see Virginia Tech beating Purdue.
I think that Marquette can beat Baylor as well. Mike talked about it earlier. Teams with length and athleticism can give them trouble, and that's what Marquette has. I think Kentucky has the easiest path to the Final Four of any of the top 2 seeds. I don't think that they play Purdue. I think that Virginia Tech picks them off. Your boy Mike Young there, Mike. He can get it done.
Most underrated coach in America.
Yeah.
Most underrated storyteller in America.
Why, Mike? Why is he the most underrated?
Well, he was having success at Wofford for about 8 years before anybody even realized it.
Yes. And it was the worst job in the league then.
It was probably not good, but I thought for sure, because they both had multiple openings during Mike's time at Wofford. But I thought Wake Forest and Vanderbilt would each have tried because of the academic background at the school he was at and the academic background at those places. I thought they would each have tried. And Virginia Tech missed the boat on him a couple of times. He's from that area. They hired a couple guys before they figured it out as well. But he's so good with kids. He gets them to believe. He runs great stuff offensively, but he's really good defensively as well. And he doesn't get overwhelmed with high level talent. He believes that if he can get the right guys, he can coach them in a way. He wants great players. Don't get me wrong, right? But Hunter Couture, he saw and thought he was really good. He signed Hunter Couture at Wofford. He had Kevin Lumet at Wofford. He had Storm Murphy at Wofford. Those 3 dudes went and kicked Duke's butt for the ACC championship, man.
That's unbelievable. You think about that.
Three Wofford signees beat Duke for ACC championship.
Hey,
Darius Maddox.
I want to ask you a question, Mike. I don't know if you know this stat. Since 2010, there's only been one team that won the national title that didn't have basically 2 point guards starting, and that was Kentucky when they had Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with a first-round pick at the point in Marquise Teague. What's the value of having those 2 guards? What's the value of having like Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell, or Kihei Clark and Ty Jerome, or Ryan Arcidiacono and Jalen Brunson? Like, why does that help college basketball teams make runs in March?
Well, really at all levels, to be honest. Think about the game, right? Coaches trust most the guys who that have the ball in their hands. Those usually are guys who understand what the coach wants on both ends of the court. Those are the guys that communicate the best with their teammates. Those are the guys who have a great feel for Kellen Grady's made 2 straight threes. We need to run this stagger pin down or whatever it is to get him a shot. Or he's looking for him in transition. When you get guys who don't always play point, trying to play point, they don't think that way. They think about trying to get themselves going a lot more often. And sometimes a guy may hit a couple, and it's not that they're selfish, it's just that their mindset isn't, man, this dude's got it going. We need to keep feeding him. And so when you got Anthony Davis and Mike Kidd-Gilchrist, you can overcome not having a great point guard. When you got a Hall of Fame coach in Ochai Agbaji, some people criticize Kansas on whether they have a great point guard this year. DeJuan Harris is good enough when you got an All-American and a Hall of Fame coach to go with him. And so that's why I think they can win it. But having those guys that really understand the game, can execute late game situations, especially in the tournament setting, because you don't have time to teach everything. You don't have time to prep for everything in short turnarounds from Friday to Sunday or Thursday to Saturday this time of year. So you need your guys to be as connected as ever, and your point guard's got to lead that part of the game.
Yep. Goodman, here's the list of teams that I have that are top 3 seeds that fit that two kind of lead guard model. Gonzaga, Baylor, Kentucky, Tennessee, Villanova, and Auburn. To me, those are the teams.
Villanova has 2-point guards.
I mean, they have Colin Gillespie and Justin Moore, and the way that they run their offense is it's very much same thing as 2018 team. They basically had 4 guys that you could classify as lead guards on the floor there as decision makers. So I put them in the mix.
Put Illinois in there.
There are 4 seeds, but they would definitely be in that conversation if we want to open it up and add them in there as well.
No, I don't know how far you would go now.
That's your guy? That's Brad, right? That's your guy.
Yeah, Cabello's he's dynamic, man. And then Trent Frazier, he's been through it. This is his 5th year. He's tough as nails. When Cabello was out, Trent Frazier really was leading them. They can, the thing about Illinois this year, as opposed to the last few years, they can really, everybody except Kofi can shoot threes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
They're dangerous. I got them going to the Final Four. This year. I know Cabello's the key still, because even coming off the bench, sometimes he just knows one speed, and he gets himself into trouble. If he, to me, it's Curbelo and Kerr Kriisa are 2 guys that are so important to their teams, and especially in the NCAA tournament, you can't have those up and down games like that as a point guard. You can't. You can rebound from them, and even in a loss in the regular season, no big deal. It's 1 game. Well, if you have one of those games where Curbelo has 7 turnovers, or Kerr Kriisa goes 1 for 11, you're in trouble. You watched it
last night, right? He had 10 turnovers, a starting point guard for Wyoming.
Yeah, that's right. Maldonado. Yeah, Maldonado triple-double with turnovers. Not what you want. But
we call that a trouble-double.
Trouble-double. Kind of was last night.
All right, Goodman. So who do you have coming out of the East? You have Kentucky?
I do. I have Kentucky coming out of the East. I kind of said all year, like, to me, Gonzaga, not all year, because I don't want to say I gave up on Kentucky, but early on they hadn't done anything to warrant feeling good about Kentucky. But preseason, I loved them. Gonzaga, the only thing that worries me, and I forget who said this. Somebody said it, I think, on the show the other night. It might have been Prom. I don't remember who it was, but they said that the backups, the reserves for Gonzaga are so young and they haven't played. Like, I like Nolan Hickman a lot, but he hasn't gotten a ton of run. I thought he'd get way more run in the WCC than Mark Few gave him this year. So I don't know if he's as far along as I thought he'd be to be able to play with Nembhard. So that they don't really have the 2-point guard, on the floor that much together.
I was saying Nembhard and Rasir Bolton.
He's not really a point. He's not really.
Yeah, but he played with the ball in his hands last year at
not a good decision.
Iowa State.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mike knows better than me or you. Is Rasir?
I wouldn't put him as a point, but as a secondary ball handler, he's good enough,
mm-hmm.
and especially because he can create his own shot.
Yeah, so he checks the box, Goodman. There you go.
Yeah. And that's fair.
He is checking the box.
But most of those guys that you mentioned, most of the guys you mentioned over the last 10 years or so were like more point than 2. I think Bolton's more 2 than point.
Fair enough.
One of the great things about Kentucky, I don't know if you guys know the numbers. I think both Sabir, who's taken an incredible amount of pressure off Tata this year, being a freshman with the expectations, right? But they're both like 4.5 assists to 1 turnover a game. It's incredible, their numbers.
I love Ty. I think Ty. I mean, again, I think you're going to see Ty at the next level be like one of those guys where you look back and you're like, he only averaged that in college. I think he can be Jamal Murray. That type of player.
I'm telling you, Sabir Willer's really, really done a great job of really just because he's their point guard now. Sabir's the one. I mean, and he's put up these numbers. I mean, he's small, but he's got a toughness about him. He'll guard you. I think maybe maybe underappreciated guy in Kentucky is Keon Brooks.
He's been great lately. Great over the last 15 games or so. And no doubt. All right, what do we got? We got Notre Dame up 2. 50 seconds left.
Oh,
Ron Harper banks it in.
Perfect. He called bank right when we need to go take a break. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the end of this Rutgers Notre Dame game. And we are also, I'm going to lock Jeff Goodman in on his Final Four picks. So make sure you listen so you know what not to have in your bracket.